seconds till takeoff. 20 seconds till takeoff.
I'm Elite Series Pro Dave Lefebre, and I just wrapped up the 2017 Bassmasters Classic on Lake Conroe.
Spectator boats, give these guys room. Everybody be safe on the water. Let's have a great championship Sunday.
We are going to have an absolute party this afternoon at Minute Maid Park. Make sure to get down there. It is Championship Sunday at the Geico Bassmaster Classic, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. It's been a throwdown, a showdown, a big fish mowdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. $2 million in earnings in the FLW Tour. A former TTBC champion himself, all the way from Erie, PA, Dave Lefebre.
I'm actually getting ready for the next one. Just got done with a media shoot for Rapala, and just trying to get reorganized and get ready for Toledo Bend. So I'm sitting down here. I just checked into my room and got a couple days off finally. So but I wanted to go over real quick, and this is going to be an easy recap of a tournament because I only used one rod. I caught every single fish on the same bait, but I do want to go back and talk about what could have been. I actually found one deep spot that really had a lot of fish on it and winning potential, I think, near the dam on our official day of practice. And this is what I was going to catch them on there. This is a DT10, DT14, probably a swim bait, probably a jig as time went on, but I ended up not getting the fish there. I pulled in, Clifford Perch was fishing the juice on the spot, so I couldn't really fish it. I fished one little place on the outside and couldn't get any keepers, but he had a 21, I think, pound day off of that spot. What I ended up doing was fishing seawalls, pretty similar to what I did when I won the Toyota Classic in '09, fishing the same types of walls, but I was fishing, instead of running all over the lake like I did in the Toyota Classic, I was focusing on one creek, and I don't remember what that creek's called, but it's the one that has April Plaza Marina in the back of it. But there's a big backwater back there, pre-spawn, post-spawn fish moving in and out from under that bridge, and I was fishing within a mile of that bridge on seawall spots that I found. Most of them were little drains, some of them were obvious drain pipes, some of them were pipes you couldn't see underwater, some of them were just breaks in the seawalls, corners on seawalls. I never caught one fish off of a dock. Some of them were close to docks, but it was all related to seawalls, little pieces of brush, rock piles, that connected to the walls and things like that. All my fish were 1 to 2, maybe 3 feet deep. Most of them probably 2 feet deep. A lot of them I could see bite. The water was muddy. I couldn't see the fish actually bite, but I could see the boil when they did bite. So it was a lot of fun. Wasn't getting very many bites, but here's a look at the jig. So the deal with this jig compared to a normal jig that I would use, you can see the comparison. This is my standard jig that I just like skipping around, and this is the one I was throwing at Conroe. So it's a lot bigger jig, same weight. This is a 5/16, so it's a really light jig with a heavy flipping hook, and it's in the root beer green color. It's got some other pale looking strands in it, but for the most part it's a really big, bulky, untrimmed. I got 4 pads of silicone skirt material in this one, and a real big chunk trailer in the same color. And this was the deal. As much as I wanted to, I had a small jig like this rigged up, I could not get bit on it. When you get bit on on this jig, it's a lot more fun because I can skip it around and put it in those little tiny cracks and get it wherever I want it to go. This one with the bigger trailer and the more skirt material, you could, I'm pretty good with it, but no matter what you do, the wind kind of takes it. Sometimes it does curveballs and all kinds of stuff. Doesn't skip as good. So I was sacrificing in accuracy a little bit there, but the fish obviously wanted this. lightweight, big and bulky. When it hit the water, it doesn't fall straight down like most jigs. It just kind of works its way down, falls real slow, and that was the deal. Those big fish really wanted this. I was basically matching the watercolor, so you could not see this jig when it hit the water, but I was making precise casts to things that I knew were under the water, and you know, I just had to visualize and pretend like there was a fish there, and a lot of times there was. So that was the deal. 20-pound test Invisalign fluorocarbon. This is a Muse Black. This is one of my favorite jig rods. This 7.4 heavy, and the reel is a Concept E 7.3-1, which is what I use for everything, and you know, pretty simple. And it felt good, you know, not to have a million rods out like I did in practice. I think I had 35 rods on the deck. It's just crazy, but the bite was really tough, so I was able to settle down and just put this one rod in my hand and you know, pray that it worked out, and it did the first couple of days. Had the bites on the last day, but just didn't get them in the boat. So when you're only getting 5 or 6 bites a day, you got to catch everything. So congratulations to Jordan Lee, and he made a major comeback on the last day. I'm looking forward to going back to Conroe. It's an awesome place. Hopefully we get to go back. Tough fishery, tough to, you know, to do the same thing 3 days in a row. But I really feel like if I would have had that deep spot to fall back on, and you know, I would have done a lot better. I just didn't get. You just can't get everything, especially on a lake that small. Everything to yourself. You might want to check out the carbon, the Lowrance. I got one on the front deck. I put it on at the Classic. There's even a 16-inch model that Edwin was running, but I put a 9 up there on the front. And with the Insight Genesis, and you know, I got to play with it on the official day of practice, and it's actually got a hardness indicator, like you can see the darker reds and stuff, and it shows a rock bottom similar to flashers and things. So I got to play with that, and that's how I found that deep spot on the last day. It wasn't much of a bottom change, maybe a foot difference from like 12 to 13, but the key was the hard area, and I found that with the Insight Genesis. Overall, great week. I finished 14th. I wanted to thank my sponsors, especially also the property owners and the spectator boats. It was a great time, lots of people cheering and rooting me on, and just a lot of fun out there this week on Lake Conroe.